Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's NFL Draft Week, and you are watching Sports Wrap Daily. I'm your host, Darrell Harris. Appreciate you tuning in here on the 8 News Now Vegas streaming channel. I am with Miss Madyson Marie today. Madyson, happy Tuesday. How are you?
Feeling good today. Yeah, maybe
Nice.
need like 8 more coffees, but for right now, coffee number 2, we're feeling good.
I've had multiple days this week. I'm in the mood for another one right now. They say it gets too late for cat. I'm like,
My God, I could drink a coffee at midnight and go to bed.
yeah, no, we got to keep this puppy going. There's much to get to, much to get done. And first things first, we're headed to Pittsburgh for the draft this year. This is a live look right now at Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh, Acrisure Stadium. Now, I may be saying that correctly. I may not be. It's much more difficult than Heinz Field, which it used to be. But
it looks pretty.
That's where they're headed this year.
There, yeah.
Yeah, no, nice skyline. The stadium's down there somewhere. But the NFL is descending. I'm sure they're already there. I'm sure they arrived a week or so earlier.
Yep.
The NFL draft was here in 2020.
Oh, did you just see that spider?
We
got a live spider shot.
I looked down right as that happened.
I was like, is that a spider?
Live.
There's Roger Goodell.
live programming. That happens. That's interesting. And
crazy.
yeah, we know who will not be in Pittsburgh this week.
Yes, Fernando won't be. His mother being sick, he just wanted to stay home, make it a little easier for her. So, I mean, I understand. I obviously am a little upset because I think the first overall pick, like, you got to walk across the stage. You've got to shake Roger's hand. It's the shot. But I respect where he's coming from. I understand where he's coming from. And at the end of the day, I mean, when you're the number 1 pick, you can do whatever you want. So,
yeah, and he'll have a plane ticket booked that probably departs Thursday at like 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, what
So
if he
can
says
get
he's at
here.
his house and he's actually just in Vegas the whole time?
Right, yeah, we don't know where that house might be set
Green
up.
screen.
You know, hey,
Yeah.
they found a nice Airbnb somewhere with a palm tree.
Right.
And
Make it
said
look like the house.
They put the Mendoza family up inside, nice and cozy. But no, that is just a formality. It's just a matter of time now before that is official. The draft has gotten later and later in the calendar year in recent years, so it feels like we've been having this conversation for a long time, and that has been the case because the season ended the first week of January, so we've had going on 4 full months of Mendoza will be a Raider. We're now in the final countdown, essentially, to when that is official.
Darrell, there's a world where they could trade him. They could trade that first pick. They could not get Fernando. They could run with Kirk Cousins. I'm just throwing out some wild conspiracies out there. But there is a world. It's not official yet.
People are still,
could happen.
It's still floating around, and for all intents and purposes,
Something to
when
think
they're on the
about.
clock, they got that new fancy war room. Anything can happen once you're on the clock. So we do have to wait and see.
Crazy things in the NFL. It's a business at the end of the day. So
yeah, there's movies about this kind of behavior. But that's not, the Raiders will be very busy. That's day 1. But they've got a plethora of picks this year.
Yeah.
They've got 2 on day 2 as well. And we know that they're picking top of the round. So it's basically that day 2 first overall, second round draft pick will basically be a first round leftover. So that's a great spot to have. 67 is the top of round 3. Then they got a busy round 3. Then they have a busy round 4, which is on day 3. Round 4, they've got 3 picks in the 4th round, a couple of picks in the 5th and 6th rounds as well. 10 in total. Those compensatory picks are how they have those extra ones. One came in the trade for Jacoby Myers. That 208, I believe, was one of the throw-ins in the Geno Smith signing as well. So that's what they're looking at collectively. On draft day, they could pull a Patriots, and the New England tends to trade down in their drafts, but they could also bundle some of these picks and try to get back up into the 2nd round or back up into the 3rd round. That's very possible, knowing that they have some spots to still fill out. So if you see a target, hey, we need to make a move and go get them.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it before. Really, pick one. Okay, pick Fernando. Do what you got to do. But the rest of the picks really need to be used on restructuring that offense, and specifically the wide receiver room. I mean, right now you're relying on your tight ends as your wide receivers, and that's just not going to carry you. It didn't carry you through last year. It's not going to carry you through this year. Fernando Mendoza, everyone has said it. I've seen him in person beat my own team. I know how he plays. I mean, he's a basic kind of guy. He's like Tom Brady, which basic wins at the end of the day. Anything you do in life, if you just do the basic route, you will get to the finish point. But he needs that O-line. He needs those receivers. He needs everybody on the team to succeed. Unfortunately, he's not going to be that quarterback that's going to get it out of the mud, do it himself, that kind of situation. He's going to be comfortable in the pocket, look downfield for his guys. So if you only have a tight end out there, it's not going to get you very far. So those picks need to go to the receivers. They've got some good third strings in that room, but they really need a top guy.
Yeah, I want them to go get Surratt or Cooper. I do. Yeah. If I had a personal preference, get one of Fernando's teammates just to bring over some of that carryover. And if you don't get him or say they're gone, take another swing on a Hoosier. Go get one of his defensive players. Go get me.
There's some bad better receivers out there. Get a corner from Indiana. I'll take a corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But I think that they've got a couple positions to go pluck from.
They've got a few. But that offense needs, and then obviously that line, Jackson Powers-Johnson is still getting his footing in the league. He's obviously moving away from his position.
You need backups.
Absolutely. Yeah. But they're going to need a line. They're going to need some receivers. And then they're also going to need a secondary. Their secondary, Caillou was very injured last year. I mean, so honestly, they need everybody.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is why they do have a handful of picks to go and load up.
Get the
What's
whole
interesting.
team.
So we have number 1 overall pick. Boom. No surprises there. The second overall prospect. Consensus, according to ESPN and several experts and insiders, Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. We haven't seen a running back be the consensus number 2 prospect in a class.
Najee Harris.
Bijan Robinson wasn't.
Najee Harris.
Wasn't. And we going back to Najee, he was a Heisman finalist. Did he win Heisman as well?
He won the Heisman.
He won Heisman as well, right?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's another one of those guys. I mean, it's like we don't see running backs taken at 2. In recent memory. Now 6, Bijan, I believe, was 8. But Jahmyr Gibbs was a top 10 pick. But
another baller.
Love, man, the numbers speak for themselves. His 40 is impressive. His physicals are all impressive. He put up not like just non-understandable numbers at Notre Dame. His numbers were a little bit more tame. Maybe
it was a chill season in
this
the
year,
NFL,
we knew how good he was.
Or in the college season. It was pretty chill. I mean, we had some great players, but it wasn't anything like insane that we've never seen before. But honestly, if Fernando wasn't in this draft, Jeremiah should go first. That's my pick. He's going to give for a team. I think he's great.
That's special. And if he doesn't go, we're looking at maybe the Cardinals, maybe the Titans, maybe the Browns, one of these teams up towards the top of the draft that may add him to their roster. And a lot of these teams are already dynamic. So adding a player that's that special in the backfield could change the team around. But we also saw last year, drafting Gentry doesn't mean that you get a bunch of wins. You still need the other pieces in place. But so I kind of wish that he was going to a team that was almost ready to more compete, because then you could see him shine a bit more. But we'll see. We got to wait to see.
When you get a running back, you want a team that's already kind of pieced together, because like you said, you see how Genty gets thrown. He can be really good, but if you get thrown into a broken team, it's like, okay, we kind of forgot about you already. You still need to prove yourself. So.
And you don't want him taking too many hits early in his career, so that way you can get some longevity there. But interesting to see what kind of pro Jeremiah Love turns out to be. But that stands out. And there's some other teams that are standing out. We're going to spread and zoom out some more on this draft and look at which team is heavily represented in the first round this year. At least that's what the projections stay. So stay right there. You're watching Sports Wrap Daily. And we're back here on Sports Wrap Daily. I'm Darrell Harris, sitting with Miss Madyson Marie, and we are talking NFL draft, Madyson.
Yes, I have to correct myself really quick. Najee Harris did not win the Heisman in 2020. He came in the running. He was 5th place. Devontae Smith won. So technically, Alabama. You know what I mean? And we won the national championship that year. Just had to correct myself there.
a lot of winning, and that they have a running back room that does this. Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson.
Icons.
And more. And more. They've got somebody they're working on right now. I'm sure of it. And interestingly enough, Alabama's going to come right back up very soon here because I was curious. This Ohio State team, right? As I'm just deep diving again. So we just talked about Jeremiah Love being the second overall prospect.
Yeah.
On some lists, the next 4 players all belong to Ohio State.
Yep.
So we might see 4 teammates taken in the top 10.
Yeah. They have an Alabama transfer who, I mean, he could have been, he's high up in the draft this year, but had he stayed at Alabama, I think he would have went even higher. But no, they have, Ohio State has been producing guys for a long time now. They really are becoming that program. And then obviously winning national championships too is just a side. But what I like about Ohio State is that they create players who aren't just good in college. They create players who are good in the NFL. And we see that a lot, right? We see guys who are amazing in college and then they get to the NFL and you're like, okay, that didn't translate. But Ohio State really does prove to create pros, not just good college players.
Yeah, and some of the folks that you're looking at right now, Arvil Reese, he's a defensive end. He's an edge. Sonny Styles is a linebacker that moves like a running back, like a receiver, but he can tackle, he can hit, he can play in coverage. We're talking about a couple more defensive players. Carnell Tate, who wasn't arguably the second best receiver for Ohio State this past year.
Raiders.
And he's a top 5 prospect. Jeremiah Smith's coming out next year.
Yeah.
And some people think he might be the top pick next year. So what a factory they have at Ohio State right now. I just wanted to bring attention to that because that is rare. And then I asked myself this question. I said, okay, well, wait, what's the record for players taken in the first round by the same team? And I'll let you get some guesses in there.
The record for players, what do you mean by that? Like what team, what school has given away the most players in the first round?
Schools, yes. Team, it happened in the last 5 years.
Okay.
It might be on the screen already, and I trust you that you're not going to. It's okay. It's fine. All right.
I was going to say, I already know Alabama because Alabama has right now currently the most pros in the NFL from Alabama. Of course, I'm going to know
it was
Alabama
a lollipop.
stats.
It was a layup. I put that right next to the rim for you and just said, just tap that in the hole. Just tap it in.
Recently, we've fallen off. Recently, the SEC has really fallen off, but we're going to circle the wagon.
Pool, players are transferring. Like you mentioned, the portal players are going from there to different schools because they're seeking opportunity. They're seeking more playing time. Where it's like, hey, if I'm going to Alabama and they got an NFL defense, I might need to go to Vanderbilt just to get some run.
Well, there was once a time when teams like Alabama, like Georgia, if you were just on the bench, you were probably going to go into the pros, right? But now that's not the case. You've got to be the guy to go to the pros. And it's just, that's how it is nowadays. But there's also rare guys like Ty Simpson this year. I know he's kind of climbing that ladder for quarterbacks, but he's been with Alabama his entire career. He was a Nick Saban product. He stuck with them when Saban left Alabama. He's one of those rare breeds. There's a few others of them, but those guys that are loyal to a team. And I think especially when it comes to a quarterback role, you want a guy who's loyal to a team. You want a guy that'll stick through coaching changes and down years and good years and anything like that, because it just shows that it's just a rare breed. It shows that they want it for the love of the game, not just for the clout.
No, and those old school Hurricanes, by the way, Willis McGahee, Ken Dorsey.
The U back in the day.
They still have some guys, and they were continuing, they won the championship in 01 and were still stacked. Yeah. A couple years after that.
The U's coming back.
We're going to stay tuned. Stay tuned. Yeah. That was a nice little tease there for some foreshadowing because they will resurface after we talk quarterbacks. But most players drafted collectively in just one draft. Georgia set that record a couple years ago with 15 players, and the Raiders got their hands on a couple of those guys, a couple of those linebackers this offseason. So that's a nice little neat full circle. And Kobe Dean, Quay Walker coming over to Las Vegas. Part of that loaded championship team that Georgia had a couple years back as well.
Have you ever seen the Eagles roster? It's literally just Georgia.
And it works. Surprise, surprise.
Georgia on the side.
Like, it's effective.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and I really like these past few years how the Big Ten has come so relevant to college football, because it was once a time when it was just the SEC. Way back in the day, it was the Pac-12, the Pac-10. Got to give them, USC, all of those guys. But nowadays, I mean, the Big Ten is huge. huge for college football. And I think it's giving SEC kind of a run for their money. Do I still think SEC is the most dominant? Heck yes. But I do like that there's other people coming to play.
Hey, heavy is at the crown. We're at the top. Everybody coming for you. So it was a matter of time that they would feel it a little bit. And that's not shocking, but they're still churning out professionals. And we're going to talk about Ty Simpson a little more because I want to get some of these quarterbacks. So let's take another break here on Sports Wrap Daily. We are talking draft T-minus 2 days, less than that, if you're listening and watching this before we see it. So let's get we're doing our homework.
Under 50 hours.
Nice. Welcome back to Sports Wrap Daily. I'm Darrell Harris. We were talking NFL draft with Miss Madyson Marie, who loves her some college football.
I love football. I just straight up love football. I wish I could play football.
I don't think it's too late. I don't.
I would walk.
But I don't want to lose you now, all right? So
yeah.
it's way too late. It's past. The window's gone.
I'm getting old, dude.
Tell me about it. So, draft time, more times than not, the first overall pick is a quarterback. We'll see that again this year.
Yeah.
Almost with certainty. But there are some other quarterbacks still that are floating around, really don't know where they'll land, when they'll come off the board.
Someone who's getting old is that guy right there.
Yeah, Carson Beck.
I was in college when he was playing in college. So just got to say. But Carson Beck is going to be, I think going to Miami was probably the best decision Carson could have made for his draft stock for sure.
Got a little bit more credibility just because being at Georgia for all those runs, you can point to everybody else.
Stetson Bennett.
And say like,
Stetson got them the natty.
We don't give him the credit.
Yeah.
And you take that to Miami. That was also loaded. They have some top prospects in this draft on defense too. But you prove that, hey, I know what I'm doing around here, and I can play quarterback. Now, he did throw an interception in that game.
Mm-hmm. Carson Beck.
There.
Yeah, and then we saw Ty Simpson. Ty's going to be
talk to us about Ty a little bit. What do you think?
Great pick for anybody.
I'm seeing late first round right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he's the number 2 quarterback in the draft right now. I know originally he was down there, but people have really been talking just about, A, his loyalty, like I mentioned earlier, but B, Ty's got an arm. And Ty's got grit, too. He's not extremely mobile, but he is, again, another Fernando who is great at the basics, comfortable in the pocket, and will find, whoever he needs downfield. I think Ty will be amazing. Does he need to start as a backup first? Yes. But I think he's going to have a really long career in the NFL. Fingers crossed.
Some of the others you're seeing right there, Diego Pavia coming out of Vandy, right? Correct? Is it Vandy or is it
Pavia coming out of Vanderbilt? Yes.
Beck, who we just were talking about. Garrett Nussmeier. I like Nussmeier from LSU. He can kind of lets it fly.
Yeah,
which I like.
He's a sleeper right now.
Yeah, he'll fling it. Probably a day 2 pick.
Yeah,
maybe day 3, but we shall see because there's not that many quarterbacks that are going to hear their name called before him. So, pardon me. I think that Nussmeier lands on a roster and it has one of those training camp battles just maybe to watch or just as clear QB2 because we don't know if anybody else of these are day 1 starters. If they're saying Fernando might not be a day 1 starter, we'll see about that.
Yeah, but I think that's what a quarterback needs. I don't think throwing a guy in who's even like Carson, been in college for 6 years, I don't think you throw him in that starter role. I think you need to throw him at least for a few games as a backup, kind of get his just get his feel for the pros. Like, it's a bigger stadium. It's more lights. It's a bigger playbook. You got guys who have been in the league for 10 years with you now, not just an 18-year-old with you. So I really think that all quarterbacks need to start as backups, but I'm not a GM. So.
Yeah, well, and let's actually do a little more homework on the quarterbacks because this decade, it's fluctuated. We just referenced about 5 or 6 guys in this class that are going to be drafted. So you can say that it's a down year sort of for quarterbacks relatively. Also, there's not that many vacancies in the league right now.
No,
most teams have their guys locked in. Minnesota even, who was considering, they still have J.J. McCarthy. They went and got Kyler Murray. They're not really drafting. They're not shopping for a rookie.
And next year is quarterback loaded. So if you need a QB, hold on to your guy right now and go next year, in my opinion.
So right here, I just wanted to count how many quarterbacks were taken total in recent drafts. So we got the last 5 up on the screen right now. You'll see. Sometimes 14 quarterbacks were drafted in 2023.
9. Let's go BY. Yeah.
And I put in parentheses the first one taken overall, not pick one. These actually were all top overall picks except for Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
Kenny Pickett went, I believe, about 20 to Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
out of the University of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And a wide array of of success. And it's funny how much the quarterback position ages you. Like, let's just go back to 2021. These guys are still young guys, but they feel like they've been around the league for forever.
Yes.
Talking about Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I wrote down one name that I actually can't even make out right now, and I'm like, who? Oh, that's Mac Jones. I wrote Mac, and I was like, okay, who exactly is it? Yeah, Mac Jones. It feels like a while ago that we saw some of these guys as starters, but you have to stay ready. Mac Jones popped up again last year with San Francisco. So it's a really interesting batch. Davis Mills was in that class.
Yep.
Now let's go to 2022. You see there's 9 quarterbacks there. Let's play a little trivia game, Madyson.
Okay.
Can you give me 2 other quarterbacks in 2022? And she had no homework. She had no prep for this. So I'm going to talk as she thinks for just a little bit because this is happening spontaneously. But
Justin Fields came the same year as Trevor Lawrence, huh?
Yeah. So give me one other one because this is an interesting bunch. And you'll be frustrated at who you maybe leave off, but it'll come right back to you. And you're not the only one that did. So
was there a Clemson? No, Clemson from Trevor. Oh my, I don't know, Darrell. You got to hit me with it.
Okay, so Atlanta took a rookie that year that has bounced around. He actually had a very brief stint with the Raiders as well at the end of the season before last.
Give me a college.
Where did Cincinnati, I believe.
Oh, no, not. I was gonna say, no.
Desmond Ridder? Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Okay, quarterback out of Liberty.
I don't even know.
I believe Malik Willis went to Liberty. I believe.
Okay.
But he got paid this year. Congrats to Malik Willis. And maybe is in line to be. No, I won't say maybe. He's in line to be a starter down in Miami. They paid him. They're paying him starter money.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey Zappi.
Oh, I remember Bailey Zappi. Wow, 2022, really?
Matt Corral, Sam Howell.
I remember Matt
was getting some run in Washington.
Yeah.
Skylar Thompson. He started a playoff game, everybody.
Oh, you're unlocking. I graduated college in 2022, so you're unlocking a lot for me right now.
And then Mr. Irrelevant, 2022.
Brock Purdy.
The one quarterback that's probably standing tallest out of that class was the last pick in the draft in 2022. And then 2023, where you see 14 quarterbacks were taken.
Oh, yeah.
Man, all types of folks.
I can tell you the second pick in the draft in that year. I can't tell you any other quarterbacks, though.
Okay, was 2, let me try to figure out who was 2 behind Bryce. Was 2 defense? Mm-hmm. Was it Houston?
It was Houston.
Okay, yes, it was Will Anderson.
Heck yes,
and then with the next pick they took.
I remember. Oh,
You got it. I know you got it. I know you got it. I can't give this one to you.
Give me my coffee. It was oh my gosh, they were shocked. It was Michael Penix Jr.
No. No, not yet. But who's there? Houston quarterback.
Oh.
They addressed both sides of the ball. They went Will.
Why am I blanking on his name right now? CJ Stroud.
Yeah, there you go.
Michael Penix was the next year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
Michael
very
Penix
correct.
Was go next
2024,
year.
yes, that loaded. Yes, we can do that as well. But no, 23 also Trent Richardson. I mean, not Trent Richardson. We were talking about Trent Richardson earlier.
I was like, that was a while ago.
But now I'm blanking on his first name, Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
Richardson.
Still a sleeper. Still needs to show himself.
Was in that draft.
Will Levis was late in that draft.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was a bad year.
AOC was in that draft. O'Connell got picked up late out of Purdue. Dorian Thompson-Robinson got drafted by the Browns that year as well. So no, it's
got to start that year too. You got a few
some
games
playing
in there.
time and is still hovering around, sort of waiting for some of those calls. And that was 2023 had even more than that. It was 14. I said I stopped writing because there were names that I basically never saw before. I was like, who's this guy?
You're a football maniac when you're watching like the 4th round and you're over here like, oh yeah. These guys. They're pulling guys out of the MAC
That's
conference.
What we wanted.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted. And then 24 was that fun first round. 6 first rounders in 24.
Yep.
Which I messed up the order going down this, and I already wrote it, so I can't really quiz myself on it. But
okay.
6 quarterbacks in the top 12. I remember being very hopeful that the Raiders would just get one of them. And then Atlanta grabs Penix, which kind of threw off the whole thing.
Well, I remember Penix being a shocker going that early. Bo Nix that year. Bo Nix really proved himself.
He was the last one to go before Raiders were on the clock at 14.
Yep.
Denver got him at 12. And that was after Caleb, Jaden, Drake May, and J.J. McCarthy.
What a crazy year for the Pac-12, though. That was the final year of the Pac-12 as we know it.
Yeah.
And they had the top 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Caleb Williams, obviously, but they had some of the top quarterbacks in that league. The dying Pac-12.
Yeah, they went out.
And the
with
two
it.
played each other in the championship.
They went
and
out
that was a
slinging it.
crazy one. Yeah. I'll never forget that year. It was good for them.
So, no, you know, a little draft memory lane just because the names that we're going to hear over the next couple of days will go on to have multiple year careers. They'll be on the team. They'll be on different teams. They'll come into relevance when you least expect it. You just be surprised. You never know on draft night. And that's only the beginning. Only the beginning.
Fernando doesn't go to Las Vegas.
Yeah. So good luck. Good luck, Vegas. Y'all go take care of it in your high-tech war room. And we shall see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we'll have coverage over on 8 News now, too, of all 3 days.
You better believe it.
Get you some sound from all those people as well. So,
and if you weren't ready for the draft, there you go.
You're up. Get some coffee.
We'll see you back here tomorrow on Sports Wrap Daily. Y'all have a good night.